Recently, I have heard many talk shows say that Russell Wilson is out of the MVP race, but I think we should put a hold on that for a second. There are 5 reasons why Russell Wilson is still in the MVP race. Disclaimer: this video was made before the Thursday game between the Seahawks and the Cardinals, so some of the reasons I give may be slightly inaccurate. First of all, there are no outstanding candidates in the field. In the past couple of years, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson were clear frontrunners in the race at about week 10. This year, none of the guys have a clear lead. Kyler Murray, who is likely the favorite at this point of the season, has had bad games sprinkled throughout the season. Even against the Bills, he didn't have a good stat line before his final Hail Mary, or Hail Murray. In Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers' case, both have had a stretch of time when their play was not as good. There is one last candidate, but I'll get to him a bit later. This may change since Murray faces a historically bad Seattle defense on Thursday, but if the Seahawks win, the door will still be open for Wilson. Wilson may have had a steep fall, but where he started the fall from was historic. We have to remember that Wilson was on pace for some historic numbers before he took a fall. He led the league in touchdowns, he was second in passer rating, 4th in the league in yards, and led the highest scoring offense in the league at the halfway point of the season. Had he kept up those numbers, he would have been in historic company, but he didn't, which leads to my next point. The final major candidate in the MVP race is Patrick Mahomes. The problem with Mahomes is that his team is too stacked. He has one of the best offensive lines, an overabundance of weapons that he can utilize, and most importantly, an above-average defense that has shown its ability to take over a game. The reason why Wilson was unable to keep up his historic line is because he was forced to do everything on offense. The running backs are banged up for the Seahawks, which allowed the opposing defense to only worry about the pass. The Seahawks will be playing with their third set of offensive linemen, which was key in Wilson's success early on. To make matters worse, Wilson has to keep up with the hole his historically awful defense puts him in. All in all, this is a recipe for disaster. However, once Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde come back, the Seahawks should be able to trust the run and be able to take up more time for their defense to rest. Hopefully, the defense will improve with the addition of Carlos Dunlap and Damon Harrison and with the return of Shaquill Griffin. The Seahawks' schedule so far can definitely play a role in the MVP race. The wins the Seahawks have so far include a pre-collapse Patriots team, a Cowboys team that had the number 1 offense with a healthy Dak Prescott at its helm, a Dolphins team that has looked promising so far this season, and a Vikings team that is looking at a wildcard spot. These are all wins in which the load was put on Wilson to carry the team. On the flip side, the losses the Seahawks have suffered may have been to the best teams they could have lost to. Buffalo pounded them, but they are looking at their first division title in 25 years, debunking the Patriots' run. The other 2 losses are to the Cardinals and Rams, both on the road. The NFC West is shaping up to be one of the most, if not the most, competitive division in the league. To make things clear, I am not saying that these losses are good, but I will say in the last point, there is a possibility these losses don't have as much as an impact as they do have right now. Now that we have gone over the past schedule, let's look ahead in the Seahawks schedule. The Seahawks have one of the easiest schedules remaining. Of their next 5 games, 3 are against teams in the NFC East. Another one is against the winless Jets. If Wilson can put up solid numbers in those games, the bad stretch he's coming out of may be overlooked. Of the 3 division games the Seahawks have remaining, they have 2 at home. The teams they face at home, the Cardinals and the Rams. I'm going to use a system mostly used in college football, but can be applied here. If the Seahawks can avenge their loss against both the Cardinals and the Rams, and if Wilson can put up solid numbers in both games, Russell Wilson may come back in the MVP race. Obviously, if another player ahead of Wilson comes out and goes on a tear, they will likely be named MVP. But if Wilson can go on a tear he went on at the start of the season, the recency bias and the narrative may be enough to get Wilson the MVP award.